I am in front of the Wayne, Michigan Ford plant, day 18 of the United Auto Workers strike. We've been a little busy today working on some things. We did some interviews we recorded earlier. Across the street is the picket line. I haven't been turned down this much since prom. I must have gone up and down that line for 20 minutes, but nobody wanted to talk. Sometimes you wouldn't. But thankfully, you wanted to talk. Tell people your name and how long you've been working for Ford.
Hi, my name is StatusCoup. I've been working for Ford for 7 years.
7 years. So tell me about, obviously it's over 2 weeks now. It's hard to stay out on strike, only $500 a week. Tell me about, for you, what's the top issue that made you want to go on strike?
More money.
More money. I'm sure it's been tough for you. Inflation, gas, groceries, all the bills that have been going up. They say inflation's getting better, but every worker I'm talking to is really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your situation.
What you mean?
It's been a struggle for you.
Yes.
Yeah. For you, before the strike, tell me about how the morale was in the plant, because more workers I talk to, they talk about the managers are on them, faster. They want more productivity. They're not big on giving people, long breaks. How was it in there before you went on strike?
It wasn't that bad.
No?
No,
Really?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And for you, do you think that the Ford CEO has consistently said that if they give you the money you're asking for, the company wouldn't be able to be competitive, the company wouldn't be able to keep the amount of workers on? Seems odd to me since they made billions of dollars last year. Do you think the CEO is being honest when he says that?
I'm really not for sure, because I don't know.
Gotcha. Anything you want to tell the audience about, the main reason you're all out here and, what you want from the company?
What I want from the company is more money and better benefits.
And for people who say, well, if you're not getting it here, why don't you go elsewhere? I'm sure there's not a lot of amazing jobs out there, particularly union jobs in the area.
No, it's not.
And what's your name again?
Yolanda Tufscott.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So that was Yolanda. Obviously, what's that?
Was I whispering? Was I talking to the mic? I
You're
didn't want to sound ghetto.
Okay. You want to talk more?
No, you said I wasn't talking loud enough for them.
Oh, no, you were talking. You were talking just fine. So, like I said, this line goes here all the way down. We got here 20 minutes ago. Sometimes people are jumping to talk, and sometimes people don't want to talk. Unfortunately, it was the latter. Pretty much every single, I should say, a lot of people say they like our coverage, but they were shy, didn't want to talk, whatever. So I figured I'll still go live. I'll just talk to you, the audience. Maybe some more people will want to come on as we go. Let me see how many people we got. I'll also give you some updates on the strike. Yeah, she wasn't the most talkative, unfortunately. All right, 2, 3. We did post earlier the clip from yesterday. Where were we yesterday? Lansing, where that fine gentleman had some choice words for CNBC's Jim Cramer. Called him a fat ass, told him to get down to the line. So we posted that earlier. How you feeling, Jordan? I hope you're well. If I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little tired. John and I are a little tired. We've been, since Friday, we've been in Michigan. We've been in Chicago, then back to Michigan. We did some other stuff earlier today. We went to the Schwartz Creek plant earlier today. If you remember, there was the hit and run at that GM facility earlier. So we spoke with workers there. That was recorded, so we'll be posting that in the next few days. Tomorrow, I don't know where we'll go live from. Tomorrow morning, I'm interviewing some retirees because obviously the focus has been on the current workers, which getting them better wages, getting them better benefits. But one of the big things is all these auto companies do not want to give another dollar for pensions, They don't want to give more money for retirees, the people who built these companies. So I wanted to interview some retirees and, hear what their situation's like, because they haven't gotten any improvement in retiree benefits basically since the 2008 financial crash. So tomorrow morning we'll be interviewing some retirees. We are with you and John in spirit. What you do matters. Thank you very much. John was harsh. I do think these union workers will lose their job. I don't like that, but that's what's coming. I don't think so. Let me give you an update, too, and then I'll read some super chats. We have gotten a few new members today. Reminder, we're trying to get 15 to 20 new members every single day so we can stay out on the road. This is day 18. We've been out here since the beginning. We've been out here every single day talking to workers, even when they don't want to talk to us. We've been out here on the picket line. So that's because of you. Yesterday we got 19 new members, but we're trying to get even more members. So if you can, please sign up, because if you don't sign up, we can't stay out here. It's expensive to stay out on the road, so you can sign up at statuscoup.com/join. Super chats are appreciated, so are donations. Let me read some comments. John's going to see if anyone will talk. It might be the night shift. It might be because of the night shift, too. People are less chatty. Obviously, they have people all day, and they come in shifts. But this is actually the first time nobody's wanted to talk, so I won't take it personally. But let's see here. We got a $10 donation from Mike. Greetings from Germany. When I see how my fellow Americans are fighting for employment rights that are normal here, it makes me sad. The unions are very strong here and keep the middle class alive. We have medical insurance for all, 6 weeks paid vacation, free college, up to 2 years sick leave, up to 3 years maternity and paternity leave, just to name a few. Why can't my fellow hard-working Americans have the same good things in life? Keep up the good work. That is Germany, and I went to Germany a couple years ago, and I was stunned just hearing about just maternity leave. Basically, the woman I spoke to said she got a full year, fully paid. When you think about in America, you can't even get paid sick leave through this corrupt government. Not to mention maternity leave. I mean, how much maternity leave do you get here paid? Not much. So thank you so much, Mike from Germany. It's easier to have a middle class in Germany and other European countries when your government actually provides some dignity and benefits. $10 from Antoinette. Thank you so much, Antoinette. I'm so glad you're on the ground telling our side of corporation greed at its best. We are only asking for our fair share of what we gave up to save our livelihoods. They need to honor their promise that they would give us everything back when they became profitable, and that has been over a decade ago. And now they're going back on their promises. Absolutely. You got to remember, not only did these workers give back about 10 to 12% of their wages a decade ago, actually 13 years ago during the financial crash, gave back their pensions. They allowed the two-tier system, and they did this because the company said, if you don't allow these cuts, we're going to have to close down. All your jobs will be gone. But the companies promised, we will give it back to you and then some once we stabilize. Well, they stabilized a long time ago and screwed over the workers and did not honor those promises. So that's what this is about. Even though the media likes to pretend and spin it as, these workers are asking for unrealistic things and this is excessive demands. It's not. They're asking for what they gave back. They're asking for increases to match inflation. And then how about a little merit pay? Because I'm talking to workers that are cranking out 500, 600, 700 cars a day on that line. $10 for Mario. Keep up the good work covering our strike, especially the coverage at my plant, Chicago Assembly, 551. We had a good time out there. It was hot. Hey, at first, I was a little worried when I went live in Chicago, to tell you the truth, because the one side of the street, nobody wanted to talk. But then I crossed the street, and thankfully I met two very, shall we say, talkative, rambunctious, charismatic workers. And they wanted to talk, and I talked to them for 45 minutes, and then the president of the local union came over, and before you know, I was swatting them away. Every worker wanted to talk. So sometimes you go to a picket line and, people don't really want to talk, or maybe they've already talked to the media. They don't want to talk anymore. So, obviously we respect that if they don't want to talk. The first person that I spoke to today wasn't very talkative, so, sometimes you're pulling teeth, and sometimes you don't have to say anything. They'll talk. So, we got a new Status Coup member on the website, Donna and Deanna. So thank you, Deanna and Donna, new Status Coup members to our website. We also got new YouTube members today, Francine, Naif, 8 of Wands, Craig Harley, and Crystal Waters. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 through YouTube, 2 through the website. So that's 6 new members today. We need to be getting 15 to 20 new members a day to be able to fund staying out here. So we've gotten 6 today. We need more than 6. So if you are watching, and if you're new here, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We just passed 155,000 today. But, do you see CNN out here every day like we are? No. Do you see MSNBC out here every day like we are? Absolutely not. Do you see the Associated Press out here talking to workers hours at a time? No. Do you see the New York Times? No. Washington Post? No. Daily Beast? No. Mother Jones? No. I get Fox News? Of course not. We have been, as far as I know, the only outlet, corporate or independent, and we're independent for sure, that has been out here every single day. Because to me, I really, in terms of the working class, I don't know of a bigger story right now in the United Corporations of America, bigger than this strike. So please support us, statuscoup.com/join. And again, super chats are very appreciated. I think I have another email from Colin. I'll just keep talking until I have nothing left to say. Hold on. See if hey, any of you guys want to talk? Trying to talk to workers. Don't be shy. Okay. By the way, I mean, you can't see. So the picket line starts here, obviously, and it goes all the way down. I asked, how many workers did I ask? At least 30? I don't know. Maybe I smelled today. Nobody wanted to talk. So I said, you know what? I'll still go live. I'll talk to people, see what's up. All right, Colin, let me know if we have any more super chats. I'll give an update on where things stand. So obviously on Friday, they announced the expansion of the strike to include the Chicago assembly plant, which has over 5,000 workers in Chicago. Also the Lansing plant, the Delta GM plant, where I spoke with workers last night. So this is from the Detroit News. The strike is now in, obviously, its 18th day. It's in its 3rd week. It's resulted in nearly $4 billion in losses, according to economic analysis. It's resulted in $325 million in direct wages lost. That's for the workers because they're only getting paid $500 a week right now. $1.1 billion in losses to Ford. That's where we are right now. That's the big Ford plant in Wayne. They make the Bronco in addition to other cars. So $1.1 billion in losses to Ford specifically, General Motors and Stellantis. Nearly $1.3 billion in losses to suppliers. Obviously, this is affecting suppliers. I was listening on the radio today. I don't know if this number is specifically correct. Sounds to me like the company's inflating the numbers, but they said around between 325,000 and 500,000 auto suppliers could lose their job if this strike continues. There will be layoffs among suppliers if the strike continues. I don't know if it's upwards of 500,000, but suppliers will lose their jobs because obviously if the plants are closed, there's nowhere for them to supply, to distribute and sell their supplies to. The 3rd week of the strike, so this week, is expected to be significantly more costly for Ford, according to AEG, the analyst, after the Dearborn automaker was spared a strike at its parts distribution centers last week, but now will lose production of some of its most popular SUVs, the Ford Explorer and Lincoln Aviator. So that's what they make at the Chicago plant that just went on strike on Friday. The companies, all of the companies, the main profit centers for these companies that are not yet on strike is the Ford assembly in Dearborn, the Kentucky truck plants, They make the F-150s. That is the major, I would say, that's the major bullet in the UAW's chest. To really go after Ford specifically would be to go on strike at the the Kentucky plants that make the F-150, because that right now is one of the most profitable plants. The GM in Flint is one of the big profitable centers, and the Fort Wayne plants that make the Chevy Silverados and the Stellantis Warren truck and the Sterling Heights Assembly, which makes the Dodge Rams. So right now, the most profitable plants, I would say, are not on strike. Obviously, there are some who want all of them on strike right now, immediately. But obviously, the union is trying to stretch the strike fund and not go on strike all at once yet, so that they could keep the strike fund going longer, meaning keep the strike going longer. But, you know, whatever side of the fence you're on, if you want all the plants on strike at once, maybe ask them, if you want all the plants on strike at once, or you like this strategy. Most of the workers I've spoken with on the strike line, at least, have told me they like the current strategy. They think it is strategic and smart to pit the companies against one another. They think it's strategic not to go on strike all at once, because if all the plants went on strike all at once, essentially the strike fund would only last for about 11 to 12 weeks, because 150,000 workers times $500 each, you're not going to last that long. And obviously, the companies could just wait out the UAW at that point, and just, you know, not go, just let them strike until they run out of money. We got somebody? All right, finally. How you doing? Come on over. What's your name?
Fallon.
Fallon? How long you been with Ford here?
Ford for about 7 years now.
Okay. And were you with a different car company before then?
I started at Rawsonville in Ypsilanti, and then in 2021 I came over here for the Bronco launch.
Okay. So when you came over here, did you have to do temp first, or you came in full-time right away?
Full-time. So when I started at Rawsonville, I was temp for a little less than a year, and then I got hired in. Ever since 17, I've been hired in.
Okay. And tell me about that, because I talked to workers yesterday at GM in Lansing. I've talked to other workers. It's just this ridiculous system. You start out temp, you get laid off, then you get hired back as temp, and your clock resets, you lose pay. What's your core reason for feeling this strike had to happen?
Equality, honestly, because nobody's equal anymore. I'm probably a fifth, maybe even sixth, seventh generation. My grandpa's like, you know, what we used to get paid back in the day, we could afford stuff. Now you guys can't really afford anything. He goes, back in the day, it was you work your 90 days, so you're hired in. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll work my 90 days, get hired in, talk to all the union reps. Hey, when am I getting hired in? Oh, when they do the next round of employees, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, we already did our 90 days. What's going on? Like, why aren't we hired in? So honestly, that's a big thing, is that they just abuse all the temps. And then the wages, I don't really care about the hourly. I know cost of living is a big thing, so that would kind of be what our hourly raises. We need a raise, but at the same time, I would rather have cost of living back, because that gives us a raise when cost of living goes up.
Right. And you know, what I find so kind of dishonest, the media and Ford, they're trying to make it seem like, oh, this is excessive what they're asking for. It's not realistic. But it's not really 40% when you think about it, because you gave back 10% in the 2008 financial crash, even though you weren't working here specifically. The workers in general gave back $11 billion, the UAW gave back in total. So you're getting that back. Then inflation is basically 19%, has gone up. So really, it's not like if you got a 40% increase, that's really 40%. A lot of that is what was given up.
Exactly. I just feel like, you know, the CEOs, they don't have to give up their rent or mortgage. They don't have to give up Christmas, because my friend was just saying, you know, they're probably going to drag this on for Christmas. Have fun getting Christmas for you, your kids, however big your family is, on $500. Joke's on you. Right. So, I mean, I don't know where I was going with that, honestly. I forgot. No,
you're right. I mean, you guys are the one that have to sacrifice. They don't have to.
Yeah, so They don't really know what sacrifice is because they make so much money. I mean, when people think about it, outside people think about it, they're like, that's a lot. But when somebody inside, the UAW or a worker breaks it down, they're like, oh, I get it. I get it now. So we want, honestly, at this point, I want to go back to work. I want what we're fighting for, but it's getting hard. I want to go back to work.
Tell me about that, because obviously in the beginning, everybody's rah, rah, strike. But $500 a week, I mean, I don't know anyone that could really live off that. And that's what you get on strike. It's got to be stressful.
It is. I mean, I have 2 kids. I don't have a car payment or anything, thankfully. So, I mean, $500 for me and my kids, it's like bare minimum. I'm like, do I fill my gas tank up? Do I get more school clothes for my kids? Like, it's kind of like you have to juggle what's important that week, and it's really tough.
Can you kind of talk about before the strike? Obviously, people I talked to, they said, when I was growing up in this area, working at Ford was the dream job. You thought getting in Ford, you set for life. But then I talk to people now who say, yeah, we're all kind of in there. Morale is low. What was it like before the strike, kind of you and your coworker?
It was fun. I mean, everyone was a family, and at that time, it was before COVID, so wages weren't that bad. But then right after COVID, it's just like everything spiked it felt like it was at like 10 and it went right up to 100. And I'm like, oh my God, I can barely afford my life on $20-something an hour. And then right before Ford, I'm considered legacy now. So I got a raise and I'm like, hell yeah, I can do this check. And now I'm like, wow, I'm back where I started, and it sucks.
Ford, they jacked up their car prices too, but did not jack up your wages. So they were jacking up like 20-30% for their cars, but kept you guys flat, basically.
I mean, even me at the wage that I am, if I wanted a house, if I wanted sustainable living, I don't think I could still even afford a bare minimum car or truck or anything from Ford.
Even at $20-something an hour.
Yeah, which sucks.
I've talked to a lot of, I don't know your situation, but a lot of the people I've talked to are, single mothers, single parents. It's tough, even if a full-timer, $25 an hour. I mean, that's tough if you're not coming, you don't have another source of income. Their families can't help them. So it's a lot of people think of these auto workers as like, oh, they're doing great and great health insurance. But most people I've talked to are kind of struggling paycheck to paycheck.
That's exactly what it is. And then I've talked to, my uncle's in there, and his wife is like, I just want our insurance back. Because he's top wage now. She's like, screw the raises. I want COLA, and I want my good health insurance back.
Oh, so her health insurance was cut or tweaked?
Yeah. I think we were talking about this the other day, and I want to say that they said the premium was like $200,000 or something high that, people like prescriptions. That was what his example was my wife's prescriptions used to be $5. Now they're $10 to $15, which I mean isn't a lot, but when your health insurance goes from being, premium to bare minimum, you're going to notice a difference.
And also when you need health insurance, because all of you have broken backs, broken knees, everyone I'm talking to has got something. I don't know about you, if you've had injuries here.
Fasciitis from standing all day.
How many cars would you estimate you're working on per day?
When we were running with Ranger, I want to say this was Bronco launch, because I went to Ranger back to Bronco. Bronco launch, it started about 75, and then we started running about, I want to say 380. When I went to Ranger was when they were they were starting to make all the Rangers go lower to get the Raptor Ranger to come out. We were running like 170. Now that I'm back on Bronco, we're running about, they want us running close to 400 per shift. Yes. And I'm on closure 01, which is the fenders and the swing gate of it. So I'm torquing bolts all day. 3 doors are 9 and 5 doors are 6. So my hands twisting them, grabbing the torque gun, pushing up, and then not only that, but being on my feet. Like, it's hard. My back gets numb, my shoulders tense up, my neck, I'm constantly going back and forth, looking up and around.
When you get home, your kids don't understand and they want to play and all that.
Yep. They want to play, they want to jump on me, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, this hurts.
Also, what I find frustrating, you see kind of the jerk-offs who say, well, if it's so miserable, go get another job. Why would you stay at that job? There are abundance of options around here in terms of union work, decent pay, don't treat you like crap. I'm assuming there's not, a ton of options out there.
Honestly, I feel like there is options, but at the same time, some could be union, some could be not. You don't know if that union's going to be any better than this, so you might leave a good job to see, oh, this job might be better. So you quit Ford, you go to this good job, you're like, yeah, this is going to be it. And then you're like, oh my God, why did I leave? Because I experienced that. I left, I'm like, screw this place. It was during COVID. I was over wearing the mask. It was so hot in there. I'm breaking out. Like, I feel like I'm going to pass out because it's so hot in there. So I quit, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go find a better job. Oh, I tried. And then I'm like, I can't find something where I know that I'm going to be saved, like, per the union. Like, they got your back. Like, at regular jobs, no one has your back. You do something wrong, you're walking into your manager's office and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get fired. So you always have to think about that. Like, you don't know if you're going to get fired or not. And that's why it took a while for me to come back, but I came back and I'm just going to stay for the long haul at this point.
Hey, can I ask you about that? Because it's crazy to me. You got your CEO, he loves to talk about we're all a family. People I'm talking to are saying it feels like 100 degrees in there, obviously during the summer, but at other times they're just blowing fans at you that are blowing hot air. Why don't they have working air conditioning in these factories?
Supposedly there is air conditioning, but because of all the robots and everything that has to be welded through the robots, and obviously the people working and whatnot, it's probably over 100 degrees in there. They don't have enough fans, first of all, per me. Like, I want a fan here, surrounding me. Like, I'm walking with the fans in to do my job. Or the fans just don't work, and you try to call an electrician or whoever fixes them, and they're not coming. So it's like, it took almost a week for 2 fans on my line to get fixed. And I'm like, that's bull crap, because we should not have to work in that at all. And then I've talked to the maintenance supervisor, because one of the robots, I guess the arm broke. There was hydraulic water, this, that, and the other all over. He said that he's talked to Ford multiple times, and the air system in there is only one air system, and it is not suitable to run Ranger and Bronco. That he said you need 2 separate air systems. This is why it keeps breaking down. You want to Band-Aid stuff. They have enough money to give us an air conditioning and turn it up to 0 to freeze us to death. I would love to work in that.
A couple more. I want to ask you, the CEO went on TV on Friday, Jim Farley, kind of was pissed off that the UAW added the Chicago plant to this strike. He was saying that the offer they already have on the table is the best offer, any worker has ever gotten. He said it would make you the wealthiest workers in the world, auto workers. That's not true. Germany and others make more. He said that the UAW is holding the deal yet. What do you think about that? Because, I don't know, 20% increase. I don't think that's great, considering you've already given back much. They're not doing anything about pensions. It doesn't seem to me they've offered cost of living, but they're not guaranteeing they'll make electric plants union, and they're not guaranteeing they won't lay off many people as they shift over more to electric.
I think the electric vehicles should be union, because that's still part of Ford. How are you going to make however many buildings you're making non-union? You're going to slip that through the contract, and who's to say the next contract they're going to be like, oh, we have more buildings that we're going to make non-union. So they're going to try to get away from being union, and who's to say our jobs will be saved in the future? So I think that's a big thing that they should be fighting for, is keeping all the jobs union, because that's bullcrap. What if the higher legacy wants to go to these EV plants because they have to be air controlled? When I was in Rawsonville, they make some of the I don't know if they still do. They made some of the batteries. It has to be air controlled, so it was cold. So what if us high legacy people want to go over to these EV plants, but we can't because they're not union? I think that's bullcrap.
And also, I find it kind of unsettling. Federal government gave Ford a $9.2 billion loan for electric vehicle plants. There's no strings attached. The government didn't mandate they have to be union jobs. They didn't mandate certain wages. They just gave them $9.2 billion. This was a couple months ago. Do you think if the government's giving loans to companies like Ford, there should be strings attached, like making it union shops?
I feel like there should be, because that's keeping, America having jobs. Who's to say if there's no strings attached, they're like, okay, you know what? We're going to bring people over from China to come work in our plants, and we can pay them $5 an hour versus paying our union people. I think starting right now is like 17-ish maybe. Right. Oh, we're going to pay them 5 and not 17. So I think there should be some strings attached.
You ever heard of a guy named Jim Cramer on CNBC?
Feel like I have, but
he's on CNBC. He doesn't like your union president. He says he's a communist, basically. And he said, you know what? If the union keeps playing hardball, shut down the plants, move them to Mexico. They'll deal then. He said, they make $5 an hour. So some in the business community just say, shut them down, send the jobs to Mexico.
I feel like that is a possibility. Not for me, not for Ford, only because Ford is still technically a family business. They are the ones who, if you keep taking off plants, they're actually hurting. GM and Stellantis, they're not family owned anymore. They have multi-billionaire, different warehouses, different companies. They don't just have GM and Stellantis. So if they're taking off workers and taking off, all the plants, them CEOs are not really hurting because they got other industries that are making them money still. So I feel like out of all three, them two would be the ones that are like, you know what? Screw you people. You're all fired, laid off, whatever you want to call it. We're going to Mexico. Which is not fair, but I feel like it's a possibility.
And for you, obviously this is now 18 days in, so third week. People are still cheery and standing strong, but how long do you think, everybody can go? Because the media is making it out like, this is hurting the suppliers and it's hurting the consumers. And the media is, in my view, trying to frame it as, it's the workers' fault.
I think it's everybody's fault. Get at the table, make a deal. Like, come on. Why are we being children? Everyone's life is in jeopardy right now, to me. I'm not going to last long on this, and if the strike fund runs low, who's going to want to hire us when we don't know when we're going to go back to work? Oh, hey, can I get a job? I don't know when I'm going to go back to work, though, so it's only going to be temporary. Who's going to want to hire us? Nobody.
Do you like this current strategy? Because obviously there's some workers just want all the plants to go out at once. A lot of people I've spoken with like it, that it's kind of strategic and, keep them guessing. What do you think about kind of each week announcing new plants if they don't sweeten the offers?
At first I was kind of mad because I'm like, why didn't you just take everyone off? Like, everyone, all three companies, take them all off, hurt the company. But then I thought about it because I was talking to my friend, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of see where he's coming from, because I seen something on our Facebook group where this person was like, you guys are all mad that, he didn't take all these plants off, but here's the breakdown of what each plant makes per year. So it was like, he circled, I tried finding it. He circled Chicago, and Chicago made more than Dearborn Truck, because people were like, well, why didn't he take off Dearborn Truck? They make the F-150s. But per year, Chicago was making more than Dearborn Truck. So that's hurting the company a little bit. So I see where the guessing game is, but also I thought about us, the strikers, because if he took everyone off, that strike fund's going to run low. And Ford's going to be like, you know what? I know it's running low. So when you guys are high and dry, we're coming in with my deal, and it's take it or leave it.
Yeah, absolutely. And last question. Obviously, Shawn Fain has talked a lot about that this is bigger than just the auto industry. This is about the working class, workers have been screwed for 30, 40 years in this country, and he wants, what happens with this to kind of spread to other industries. Obviously, you care about, your family first, but are you hoping that kind of your fight and your hopefully victory kind of influences other workers to fight back?
I do, because like my boyfriend, he's like, why are you guys fighting? And I'm like, dude, you're a union too. Like, what you're making per hour, you should be making more. And I've spoke to multiple people. So I'm hoping, like, if we do get majority of what we want, it like boosts him. And he's like, dang, like when my union's fighting, maybe I should go fight with them type thing.
What's your name again?
Fallon.
Thank you, Fallon. I appreciate it. Have a good one. So that was Fallon, Ford worker for 7-8 years. Let's see where we're at now. Oh, 450 people. Holy cow. A dog barking at me the whole time. I hope it wasn't me. Keep smashing that like button. Keep sharing this live stream so we can get it out to more people. She was great. I think Colin sent me another one. Whew.
There was a shift change, so maybe they're skipping people first.
Okay, I'll check. Let's see. Remember, we're only going to be able to stay out on the ground if we're getting close to 15 to 20 members a day. Right now, I believe we've gotten 6 new members today, so we definitely need more members. So please, please, please sign up if you can. StatusCoup.com/join. StatusCoup.com/join. We got a $10 donation from Mike. I'm a U.S. citizen living in Germany, and after watching your reporting, I can't even begin to believe how bad U.S. workers are treated, because we live in the United Corporations of America. It is bad, and it needs to change. Donna signed up. We got a new Twitch Prime member. I didn't even know we still get Twitch members. So great. Thank you, Tech T4 channel. Super chat. Teach $2. Come back to Cap. I'll talk to you 6 p.m. tomorrow. Cap. Hey, let me ask you, Teach. You know how far Chicago is from here? Listen, I make you a promise, Teach. We will come back to Chicago if we get more members, because gas is expensive, hotels are expensive, being out on the road is expensive, paying camera people is expensive, paying reporters is expensive. It's all very expensive, as is driving 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. Over the last few days, we've probably driven, 600, 700 miles already. So I wish I had a broom that I could just be there like that. When I was in Chicago, we were live for 2.5 hours. So I do think we did Chicago pretty well. But we'll come back to Chicago if we get more support. Let's see what else we get here. Whew. Hold on.
Hey, you got your interview now? Y'all talk for a while.
I can still talk. You sure you don't want to talk?
Only thing I gotta say is, we want our money and we want it now.
There you go.
That's it.
American Constellation says the best advice I could give for these workers is to go work for defense contractors. Hell no. You're part of the problem. Don't work for defense contractors. They're why we're bombing half the world and people are dying senselessly. They're why half our money goes to the military-industrial complex. No defense contractors. No. Grant says, I remember 8 years ago they started taking away double-time weekends and started overtime after 10 hours. Yep, that's how it's been. All right, let's cross the street, see if anyone else wants to talk before we wind up. And one more time, please, taking off the glasses. We need more people to sign up. This is not a drill. This is not an exercise for fun. The only way we could grow and afford this, because it's very expensive to be out here for 18 days. We've been out here every single day. Myself, Tina, John, is you. So if you got 16 cents a day, that's all I'm asking for. $5 a month equals 16 cents a day. What do you spend $5 on a week? What do you spend $5 on possibly a day? Is all of it absolutely essential? Because if it's not essential, consider redistributing it. Yes, redistributing it to actual living, breathing, independent journalism. StatusCoup.com/join. Oh, you come here. Hold on. What's up? All right. Hold on. Smash the like button, share this live stream. We got to cross the street here. The sun is coming down on day 18 of the auto workers strike. As you can see, they're still going strong here across the street. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. About 20 people here. There's more down the picket line, so they're striking at all hours of the day. We were at Schwartz Creek, which is about an hour away from here. We were there earlier talking to some people. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be talking to some retirees. Obviously, the lack of pensions has been a big issue and something that the union gave up after the financial crash. So I'm going to be talking to some retirees tomorrow. Anybody want to talk? I come in peace? Oh my God. You want to talk to us? We're trying to get worker stories out there.
I don't work at this local.
That's okay. That's okay. Come on over.
I get you in trouble.
Don't get me.
You getting her in trouble? What's your name?
Michelle,
Michelle. Which local do you work at?
600 in Dearborn.
Okay. What do they make over there?
We make the F-150 Lightning.
Oh, okay. So F-150 is one of the big money makers for the company.
Yep.
So how long have you been working for Ford?
A little over a year.
Okay.
So not too long.
Are you still temp or you got in at full time?
No, I'm full time.
Oh, good. Good to hear.
Yeah.
So tell me about for you, what was like one of the top issues that made you want to strike?
I come from a family with a lot of UAW workers. So I mean, my grandma used to be a UAW worker for GM, and I have family that works at Ford. My parents used to work at GM. So I mean, it's a family
Generational.
thing. Yeah. So I mean, just the pay, the wages, and stuff like that. The people, especially I work with a bunch of temporary people, and just they do the same work that everybody else does, and they shouldn't be temporaries for 3-4 years like some of them were.
Yeah, I was talking to someone across the street, and she was saying her grandpa was like, I used to get paid like $30 more, and my wife didn't have to work, but now it's devolved down to people are really working paycheck to paycheck.
Yep, pretty much. So it used to be a really good job that everybody wanted to have, and everybody's saying, how greedy the workers are, which it's not that at all. It's just, with the cost of living. And, I knew that they gave them up in like 2008 because my ex-husband works at Chrysler for 29 years. So they had to give up cost of living expense to help the companies. So,
With that, the companies promised that when times are better, they'd give it back, but
they didn't. So, we're just fighting for that. So
tell me about for you. You came in a year ago. People I talk to, it's kind of sounds like you got to be on that line the whole time. They're on you if you're away from the line for too long. Productivity. Tell people what it's like just on the line.
It's just, where I work isn't as bad as, like the building next to me, but I know, it's all timed, and if you don't do everything, in the time, if your lights turn red, they come over and they're on you, why are you red? Because it's all about production, get it out, so But I mean, I work with some really good people that take good care of me there, you know, but it is. And I've heard a lot of stories from the other building next to me. It's a little bit different.
I don't know if you saw your CEO came out on Friday, he did a press conference. He was a little pissed off that the UAW added another Ford plant in Chicago. And he said, you know, our profit margin is thin. And I found that very strange because Ford made $24 billion last year, so it doesn't seem so thin to me. Something doesn't add up when he says, if we give what you're asking for, you know, we won't be able to survive.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know all that about him or, you know, but what I have seen, it's not been true. But, you know, I stand by President Shawn Fain, and I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah. Do you like the strategy? Because obviously some workers wanted to go all the plants right at once, but obviously the companies are kind of guessing right now which plants are going to go out next.
I see both sides of it, and, you know, I think it's different. It's kind of cool, you know, because, I mean, we don't even know, like, what's coming next, and that's his whole strategy is keeping him guessing, you know, like who he's going to take out next and, you know, whatever. So, I mean, you know, but I understand the reason is, you know, the strike fund, you know. So, I mean, with all three being on strike, you know, I mean, that would deplete the strike fund pretty quick. So I think he's getting his point across and, you know, kind of using us as his bargaining, you know. So I just want to get back to work. And, I mean, I'm still working, but, you know, these are my family, you know, and they're on strike, we're on strike. So I come out here every week and, you know, picket with them because they're my family too.
And for you, let's say you got 25, 30% wage increase and the cost of living, how would that change your life? Would it make things a lot easier in terms of...
So much easier, of course, you know, everything, you can't even go grocery shopping, you know, groceries, everything's so high. So, yes, of course it would help everybody, you know, but I also want to make sure the retirees get stuff that they deserve too, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't work where I'm at, you know.
I find that also hard to believe because all the experts in the media say, oh, pensions are a thing of the past. That's not realistic anymore. And I say, why is it more why is that not realistic, but you can give $500 million stock buybacks? Yeah. So why is it unrealistic to give, you know, pensions?
Everybody wanted, like, the auto industry jobs because of their pensions, because of the job security. You know, those were the good jobs people would come here to get. So, you know, I don't think it's that unrealistic to ask for.
And last question, obviously this isn't your plant, but overall, it's been over 2 weeks now. Seems like this might go on, could be months. You know, do you think that together you guys are able to, you know, continue to last if this goes even into the holidays?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be out here supporting him, you know, and obviously he'll probably be taking more plants out. So, I mean, we're all on alert. So, I mean, mine could be next. Who knows? Nobody knows. But, you know, I'm just ready to do what we got to do.
What's your name again?
Michelle.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Absolutely. So, look at that beautiful pink sunset. Status sunset. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know if people see that.
Check your text.
Check my text. Is that good or bad? All right. Holy cow! Holy cow! Holy cow! Oh my Lord! Oh my Lord! We got $1,000 donation. Oh my God! Here I was when I started this. We walked up and down the line. Nobody wants to talk. I struck out more than at the prom. 30 people said no to me. And finally, we got some people talking and $1,000 donation. That is, I mean, as my grandma, may she rest in peace, once said, I am chvelling. I am chvelling for you Jews who know what I mean. Thank you so much, Carolyn. That really, really helps us. It helps us continue to stay out here. It's expensive. We've already spent, I got to talk to Colin, but in 18 days, we've probably almost, definitely over $7,000 we've spent between myself, Tina, John, the rent-a-car, the flights, the food, hotels. So $1,000 is huge. Thank you so much. We will put it to good use. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Feel free to email me too. I'd like to thank you. Jordan Chariton at StatusCoup.com. Don't all email me all at once, but you can. Carolyn, Jordan Chariton at StatusCoup.com. Let me see what I got. See, I wish we had the technology where we could do, popping champagne noises while I'm live, but we don't have that. I hope I didn't miss anything from... Whew. Hold on, I'm still live, I'll tell you. 222. Okay. Let me make sure I didn't miss any new members here. We got new member Michael, Donna, William. By the way, a public service announcement. A public service announcement. When you sign up as a member, you're only a member once you complete the process. So we have had quite a few people sign up and put in their information, but they haven't put in the financial information. So if you don't put in your card information, it doesn't go through. I'm not going to show here because I don't want to shame this person, but when it shows up red on my system, that means you haven't finished the membership. So for those of you watching who think you signed up as a member already, make sure you put your payment information through. That way you're a member. By the way, as a member, you get perks, including joining our monthly members call. We're probably going to do the members call next week when I'm back. So definitely sign up. You'll get a link to our members call. It's on Zoom. We got all these new members, so hopefully we'll have a lot more people on the Zoom call next time. But thank you, new members, Michael, Donna. We've gotten a bunch of YouTube members as well. So awesome. Before I shut down, Colin, send another email if I'm missing anything. I'm going to shut down because we got to go do one more thing tonight. We've been going. When did we start? 10 a.m. Poor John. It's 7, so we've been going from 10 to 7. We did interviews in Schwartz Creek. I keep almost saying Schitt's Creek. You know that show, Schitt's Creek? So we started in Schwartz Creek earlier today. That's a GM that's on strike. There was actually a hit and run last week, so we were over at that location this morning. We were going to go to Marysville, but then I was told it's kind of slim pickings over there. So then we came over here. I was also sending out to the media that clip. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. We published it earlier of the General Motors worker on strike who called Jim Cramer a fat ass, which warmed my heart. So that actually has been getting some traction in the media. The UAW worker I talked to yesterday who called Jim Cramer a fat ass piece of shit. You wouldn't, if you were on CNN and you said that, they would cut it off right away. We let the workers talk. All right, I think I got everything. I'll check one more time. Colin, one more. I got another donation. Tony, $20. Local 249 member from KCAP. Solidarity with the guys and girls on the picket line. Thank you so much. So tomorrow we got an interview in the morning with a couple of retirees. I really want to. We haven't done much of that. Where I want to focus on how are these retirees living. They have pensions, but they've had their pensions cut over the last 10 years. If you haven't noticed, if you're on Social Security, you're not exactly, shitting money on Social Security. So we definitely want to hear from some of the retirees, also get kind of their stories of, what it used to be like compared to now. So we'll be talking to some retirees tomorrow morning. And then we're kind of going to play it by ear. You don't know when you go to picket lines which ones are like everybody wants to talk and which ones you're going to get turned down by 30 people. But even though we were turned down by a lot of people, several that turned us down said they've been watching and they really love what we're doing. So to all of you who have signed up, you are telling the workers' stories, not me. You, because you're funding us to be here. So thank you. Thank you so much, everybody who's signing up. You could sign up anytime, 24/7. We're doing this the hard way, but the righteous way. We're not taking money from a big bank. We're not taking money from a fossil fuel company. We're not taking money from Big Pharma. We're not taking money from Silicon Valley. We're not taking money from the military-industrial complex. We're not taking money from the Koch brothers. We're not taking money from GM, from Ford, from Stellantis. Our funding comes from you, the average Joe and Jane. So please, if you can, support us. The donations make a big difference, and membership is the key. That's how we're going to grow